Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to another tutorial of Mugen. I'm Aceofspadesth, and we're gonna go into doing palettes. But before we do any of that, for those who are just tuning in and whatnot, I advise you guys to look at part one so you can get the understanding of what I'm doing and giving you guys the basic rundowns of this tutorial. So that way, in the future, when you make your own characters, you learn the basics already. You know how to do it. We're just going through the basics right now. Let's get into something about color palettes. What is a color palette? A color palette is basically a spectrum of colors that is used to show detail of what colors goes on a certain character and such. In terms of Fighter Factory, Fighter Factory is very sensitive about color palettes. Just because you have one part of a character that's white and the other part of a character is white, if you don't distinguish those two different whites in that character, Fighter Factory will read only one part of that character that has the white as white on both parts of the character. So you have to make sure you make two separate white color palette for it to read it and say, okay, it has two different color palettes. Another thing you want to be careful with is when you're doing these kind of colors. Usually, when it comes to these colors in general, you don't want them to be way too close to each other in terms of color numbers. Color numbers are very detailed in Fighter Factory. You have to understand what color numbers are and how close is it from one color to another. In terms of understanding, this is what they call shading. You want to be very careful with this stuff. As you can see in these pictures right here, I had a friend who I was teaching how to do the basics of Mugen, who basically took another French character and tried to make it a Mugen. He had too many different whites. We had to sit here and literally distinguish the whites, in which I had to sit here and help him with canceling out a lot of different whites and making it all into a certain amount of whites for one color. While doing that, in the process, we decided to finalize all his whites, and this is the end result of fixing it. You want to make sure you get every color in the color palette as well that's on the character. So you want to be careful as well. When it comes to a Sonic character, if they have white eyes and white on like anything else on their body, like their clothes, their arms, the gloves, the shoes, etc., you want to make sure that the whites are different and distinguished from each other. You don't want them to be similar or really close to each other. Every color that's on a sprite, you might want to make sure you look over them as well, especially with Sonic fan characters or Sonic characters in general, because the sprite's white colors are never the same unless it's like from the actual game itself that was ripped from it. You want to be careful. You want to make sure everything is good, nothing is wrong. So take this time out to actually look over your character. If you're using a Sonic character or your Sonic fan character, take your time to look over it and make sure all the whites are distinguished and all the whites do not look similar to each other. Now we understand the full meaning of what it means to deal with color palettes and everything. It's time to actually sit here and make your own color palette for your own character inside Fighter Factory. So we're probably going to have to kind of switch in and out from different things, but this will help you in the long run. As you can see, we're continuing from where we left off at. I never told you guys none of this. I just told you how to do the definitions files, to practice them and everything. Right now, as you can see, it's still here, it's still the same and whatnot. But there's something wrong with the act palette. If you remember from the video, it said player palette, player.act. I had changed it to red.act at the time just for laughs and giggles because I like jokes, but that's beside the point. We're actually going to add a color palette to this. We're not going to touch the definitions right now. We're going to slide over to the next icon of definitions, which is the sprites. Now, don't be scared of this at all. There are 65 images right here. I'm going to explain that, if not in this video, the next video, because that's when everything starts to get real. We'll start to go kind of sort of into the forest of this place. So right now, as you can see here, you have no images, nothing like that. Don't worry about none of this. All right? Don't worry about none of this. Just make sure everything is here. I activated transparency. You don't need to activate that right now. That's not important. Come here to the palette's edit icon. That's right here. This opens up. This is your palette edit sheet. This is what I call it that, all right? On the right side, you have image or palette. That's basically the palette that you're going to use for the character and whatnot. And on the left side is the character. You don't use the left side at all because, one, we don't have imported sprites yet. Two, we haven't applied any of the palettes to sprites at all just yet. So we're going to leave it right where it's at. Leave the character side alone for now. We're going to work with image or palette. So open image. As it says, this folder right here, we're going to open the image. Look over that. No, that's not what I want. Yeah, this is what I want. Go find your folder of the sprites that are in bitmap. See how it says Zsoft paintbrush.pcx. You don't want PCX. We're working with bitmaps. This program itself will convert all bitmaps to PCX. I'll show you how to do that when we start importing sprites. But right now, let's not worry about that. Let's do this. All right, here we go. We got color. I'm going to pick this because this has my color palette right there. Make sure you have your color palette for your sprite character. If you took the time to pause this video and make one. I'm going to open. Now, zoom in real quick. Now, there's something wrong with Fighter Factory Classic when it comes to blacks. If you have like 4 shades of blacks, it just takes out one of the shades on the picture and shows only 3. Why? I don't know. It's weird. So, right now, here's what's going to happen. You see, it's the picture, but there's no colors of the character on this, right? There's nothing. It's all black. Well, we can fix that. This icon right here that says optimize. When you click it, voila, colors. This is all the colors in the character, right? Now, here's the problem. This is key. I have a very difficult situation with this character in terms of this. Because, number one, there's white, right? The character that I have here has white effects on her and whatnot. I'm not going to change the white effects, so I'm going to leave that alone. The white effects will be for later. I'm going to show you guys how to import effects as well, the colors or whatever. Don't worry about that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to work on the color of the character, all right? As you can see here, I got all my colors. You know, everything is here. Everything is here. I got no complaints. It's all here, right? So, excuse me. What we're going to do is, this side is the character side now. Now we're going to the character side. We're getting the colors. That's what we're getting. The first thing you do is get the background color, right? The background color, which you can click on this, or you can find the color in this whole color spectrum right here. And just click on it. You see this white little box right here? You click on this. And you transfer colors. This is the third icon. You transfer colors. Oh wait, it picked the black. Here we go. There you go. Now that I have that, see? So now that's the background color. This will help you because it gets rid of the background when you import sprites and whatnot. When I had activate transparency, when we start importing sprites and activating the transparency, the background's not supposed to be shown. If it shows in the background, even when you activate transparency, then you do not have the background color to match with the sprites that you have. It doesn't matter what color the background of the sprite sheet is, or whatever the sprites are. As long as you know that it's one background color and it's put in that little white box, and you change it to that color. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get the character color. All right? So let's get the red. In my case, I'm getting the red. And whatever your character color is, you get that as well. That's 4 colors right there. I'm going to click this, hold down the shift key, slide it over like, 3 squares over to the right, click, right? Transfer colors. We have red now. That's the red. Now let's do the skin, right? It's 4 colors, right? make sure you deselect everything that's red or whatever the first color is, and select the next color you're gonna do. What I just did, right there. You click those. Those is 4 already, right? Click this, bring it over. Same thing, repeat, rinse and repeat. That's all you're doing. Next color, and do it over here, right here, and here, and there we go here. Do it again, rinse and repeat. Next color, and whatnot. It's easier to do it like this because your colors are all sorted out instead of having this crap of mess right here, right? And this, you got this all sorted out right here, and this is a crap of mess. Make sure you have it all sorted out. It's easier. 3, 4. All right. Next 4. There you go. Now that's her body, right? Let me get the black. I'm gonna take all 4 of these blacks because I still would use it regardless. All right. Yep, there you go. See, they're all distinguished, but for some reason, because I have 4 blacks or shades, they count down as 3. Because this had 4 shades, but it's 3 now. But that's whatever's to me. It doesn't matter. It's whatever's. I can overlook that. Now for the next thing. All right. I'm going to skip a line and do the shoes now. I'm going to do this. This is a very easy thing to do. Just be really careful with this, because you can mess up the colors. And make sure you get every color, because sometimes if you don't have those colors, whatever the color, okay, yeah, whatever the color is that you're missing off of that character, it's gonna read it for the top color or whatever color is closest to that color. So if I have, let's say for example, I got the blue, right? I got the blues on the shoes, right? But I didn't get the blue on the eyes. The blue on the shoes is gonna be the blue on her eyes. So you want to make sure you get the color for the eyes and the color for the shoes and put them in here as well. All right. All right, let's do this. And we're going right there. That's all right. That's the shoes. The shoes are taken care of. Make sure they're distinguished. Make sure you just double check to make sure they're distinguished. And now I'm gonna do the eyes. We're gonna sit here. We're gonna rack up the eyes. Call it a day. Pick it up. There we go. Wait, I picked the wrong color for that one. Hold up. There we go. I don't want that. There we go. That's the eyes. Now for the. That's the eyeballs. Now for the actual eyes. I keep picking that background color, and I'm not trying to do that. You can't zoom in anymore, so it's kind of a letdown. All right. There you go. You want to take this white just in case. I'm going to take it. I'm still going to take it. Even though it's close, whatever, I'll still take it. It's one color spectrum off. One color number off. See? 247, 248. That's pretty close. Though I shouldn't take it, but I'm going to take it anyway. So, all right. Now that we got everything, here's what you're going to do. You're going to save. All right? Go to your document. Mugen. Here we go. Now, you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to name it red. It's saved technically. It technically saves. Fighter Factory is going to show multiple windows that you got open, so don't worry about it. That's a little minor thing. Alright. Axe palettes by 1. I'm going to put red.act. Alright. So once you do all that, go to your definitions, scroll down, go to your palette, the ACT palettes, and type in the name you put for the palette name. Right? Put red.act. Okay. I put red.act. You, whatever the color is, you do the same as well. Or you can just give it any name you want. Now that that's done, right? before we go anywhere else, we have to save. So we're going to save all. Right? Now, listen to me carefully. Fighter Factory Classic is a very fragile program. Sometimes when you close it out, it'll say invalid bound point or whatever and whatnot. Just close out the program entirely and reopen it, and then you'll be able to go right back in, no problem. Because it's an outdated program, it hasn't received any updates, because we're on Fighter Factory 3 now, the final version, quote unquote. So that's just it. So we're gonna do save all. Okay, close all. Now, if you don't get the message about it being invalid bound point, you're fine. Go to File, go to Open Recent, right? And click the definition character. Don't ever open up nothing with constants, CMD, none of that. When you want to open up a character entirely, you open up the definitions. The definitions opens up everything else of the character in that folder. Open. Bam. That's the background color. There we go. Right? Now, for us to actually see if this actually worked, we're going to go back into Palettes Edit. We're going to add. Right? Don't go no open image, none like that. We go to add. It's right there when it says insert palette. Go to add. Change this to Windows bitmap. Go find the folder for the sprites that you put your character stuff in. Right? Just find the idle. That's going to be the first thing we do. We're going to do the idle. Open. Use the same name of images. It is crucial you check this. Now you're going to apply the palette on the images. Alright? Go to Libraries. Documents. Go find your Mugen folder. Put it in the Mugen folder of your character, not the sprites place. Because you don't want PCX files and bitmap files being in the same place. So whatever you're working with the definition and stuff and whatnot, put it in that folder. It's gonna, even as you save this, it's gonna use the same name as the images. So you could just do that. Call it a day. Ta-da. Whatever the case may be. Alright. Now that's done. Close it out. Go to sprites. Right? We're now in the sprite section. Now this is gonna get really, really tricky. I want you to listen to me. It says 1 out of 65. Do not delete the 65 slots already. The first slot is the icon for the character in the game. The second slot is the picture of the character with character selection inside of the game. Right? The other 63 is your hurt sprites. I'm going to give you the rundown on how to do that later, because that is a very, very tedious process to go through, and I want you guys to understand that. All right, so now let's go to 2 out of 65. That's where we're gonna go. We're gonna go to add. All right, now it's not gonna show you the folder or not. You gotta go find it again. Find your Mugen folder. Here it is. All right, remember how we said remember how I told you how to put it as individual palette if you want multiple color palettes for your character? Listen carefully. Listen. When you're adding these sprites in, the idle, I usually add the idle in first, because that's the first thing you should always add, because that's going to be the easiest thing to start the whole thing off with, and it's usually the first thing in the animations part of this whole Mugen character creation process. So, as you can see, it says it right there. Now, here's what you're going to do. It says group, image, axis, image name or comment, and then you got the whole numbers and options to do everything. Once you select all your idle poses, which you can easily do by clicking on one, hold down the shift, and it selects all of it, Once you do all that, the group number is going to stay 0, because that will activate every color palette that you added on your character. Right? You want to put it in center or center bottom, whichever one you prefer. Check the share palette box check that so that way it can share the color palette. Because if you don't, when you click the share palette, it's gonna look nasty and it's not gonna fit. It's gonna look really disgusting. Press OK. 4 new sprites were added. Now, let's go find them. And here they are. They're right here. As you can see right there. Alright. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to turn on activate transparency. Alright. And we're going to turn on, and then we're going to move this. We're going to move the sprites up. Alright. Move it all the way up here. Make sure the character is like on a horizontal line on this T, because that's literally the 0,0 kind of like thing in Mugen. It's not going to tell you that. It's going to tell you 14 on the X, 36 on the Y. Don't worry about that. Just make sure everything is still aligned on that, because when you export the game and want to see how it looks, it's going to show you. Alright? Now what we're going to do is you're going to turn on onion skin. Onion skin is a lot different for those who are animators and are learning animating and learn about the onion skin. It's a lot different in Mugen. As you can see, it's very different, because now it doesn't go to the next frame and shows like a transparent onion skin kind of thing. It shows you the full solid sprite, but every picture you go to, that onion skin is still the first frame of that whole cycle of the animation itself, or the sprites itself, to line up. So let's keep doing this. Right? You see how that looks? There we go. I'm gonna match it up with the head, because why not? Next, keep doing it. Just make sure you line up everything. Line up everything. Don't worry about nothing. There you go. Alright. Now that's all lined up. You can turn off the onion skin. Right? Now let's see how this looks. See how that looks? It's lined. Mine's is lined up. That's literally how idle pose. I did it like that. Alright. Now we're going into somewhere else now. We're going into the animations. Because after we do the animations, we're going to export this and we're going to see what we did. So click the animations icon. Stay in animation. It's the first thing you always do. Whenever you export, importing sprites and whatnot, the first thing you import is the animations of the idols. Nothing else right now. Alright? Here we go. Now we down here. This is the group sections where it gives you categorize all the stuff on where your sprites are at. All your groups and everything. This is all numbers. You can name this. You can begin, this is action numbers and everything. We're not worrying about none of this right now. None of this at all. Alright? We're going to worry about this. And then when we get done with everything else, then we'll come back and do all this. But for right now, we're not doing none of this. We're going to leave this alone. So, let's do this. There's an easier way to do this. You right click. You want to add group to AIR, right? But don't just do that. Put this. If you have like sprites and whatnot, because every new animation standpoint from there, it's gonna be the first image of the whole music character, which is the idol. You can always when you import all your other sprites and everything, you can always do add group to AIR and get rid of the first image. But since we're not doing that, we're doing the idol. We're gonna hold down the left click and select all these. Right click, add AIR. There you go. All right. Now it says time. You know, it says time, transparency, flip, loop start, collision boxes, etc. We're not doing none of that. Right? See this up here? This is all your stuff you can work on too. You see this right here? Click the play button. Mine's a little jittery because I gotta add more. But usually it's like 6 frames and whatnot for Sonic Idol. So I'm gonna do this. Here you go. And I'm gonna play it again. Hold up. I messed that up. Give me a second. Here we go. Put that all the way at the end. Here we go. There we go. Now we play. As you can see, it's like that. It works, but I'm going to do this. Now we're going to mess with this real quick. It looks like it's working, right? But you can't really tell because it doesn't look like it's smooth or not. It looks slow. We're going to go into time. Time is basically how many frames should this one pose go on for. Think of it as like Flash. This game runs on a 60 FPS ratio. So, for my idol, I'm going to put 6. You see this right here? This says apply time in all frames. That means since this first frame is going to be 6 frames, every other one is going to be 6 frames as well. 6 ticks. I call it frames because, you know, why not? 12 ticks, 18 ticks, 24 ticks, 30 ticks, 36. See? Looks nice, right? Now it looks smoother. But we don't know if it really does look smooth or not. So, let's open up the Win Mugen, right? It's the only way to find out. Let's click it. And it should pop up the Mugen screen.
Round 1, fight!
And as you can see, the idol works. You know, the characters in the game, the background is transparent. Nothing's there, no kind of errors. You have done it. That's how you do it, right? So that's all this is going to be for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. For the next video, we are going to be doing a lot more sprite importing and a lot of animation stuff. So what I want you guys to do, as a little kind of like homework, I guess, is to import all your sprites and align them up to look decent. Make sure you use the group image and the group number. The group number and the image number to the best you can. If you gotta, everything should be in a different group number. Like right now, the idol is group 0. The first image is 0. So it's group 0, image 0. Then the next frame of that idol is group 0, image 1. Group 0, image 2, you know, and so forth and so forth. That's how it is. See? So just make sure you use these group and image. You have to use these. These are crucial. Use the group and image, alright? Get all your sprites lined up. Do not erase those sprites, those empty sprites that I told you not to erase. Do not erase none of those. Keep those there. Just work in between them, alright? And I will see you guys in the next video. We'll learn how to do animations and how to get them all set up and collision boxes, okay? Until then, y'all take it easy. Go on, everybody. Peace out.